investigation. Joining us now is U.S. Congressman Adam Schiff, Burbank. He's the ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee. Good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Okay, let's talk government shutdown. You voted against the bill that passed to reopen the government for 3 weeks. Why is that, and what were your sticking points?
Well, in the Senate leader made an agreement that if the senators voted to pass this bill, then they would allow a debate in the Senate on immigration and a potential solution for these young dreamers. The House Speaker made no such commitment, so there was no offer to House Democrats giving them any reason to support the bill. So I voted against it. We ought to be able to do a lot better than this, and it merely kicked the can down the road 3 more weeks. And 3 weeks closer, frankly, to the deadline in March when the Dreamers lose their status and might be the subject of losing their jobs and deportation.
Speaking of that, Senator Schumer demanding a DACA clean bill, nothing else attached or associated. What could that mean, and could the current Senate proposal actually have a chance of passing in the House?
Well, here's the issue. The DREAM Act is very popular. I think it has 90% support in the country. And what's referred to by a clean bill is just something that gives legal status to the Dreamers and is unencumbered by a lot of other unrelated issues. But the president wants to use these kids as leverage to get money to build a wall. The wall is very unpopular, so he's basically trying to use this very hazardous situation for these young people, the jeopardy that they'll be deported in a matter of weeks, to build his wall. And
what's your objection to that, to those who would say, well, the Dreamer thing's very popular, it happens, it gets done, and we have a wall, we have rules against illegal immigration anyways, why not support that?
Well, you know, it's one thing to have a debate about what kind of investment we should make in border security, and I think Democrats are certainly open to that. I frankly don't think we ought to be spending tens of billions of dollars to build a wall that's going to be ineffective and isn't really going to solve the immigration problem, because a lot of people who come here and are undocumented, they come on a visa and they stay, and no wall is going to prevent that problem. So we need a comprehensive approach to this, not a campaign slogan. And if the president really wants to fulfill his campaign pledge to build a wall, he also has to fulfill the pledge that he's going to use money that he gets from Mexico to pay for it. I'm more than happy to have Mexico pay for whatever they want. But I don't want to hostage these young people and their lives to build this very unpopular wall.
Congressman, CNN is reporting this morning that Special Counsel Robert Mueller is interested in questioning President Trump on the firings of FBI Director James Comey, National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. President Trump says that he is willing to speak with Mueller under oath. How do you think this will actually play out?
Well, I think he will have to speak with Mueller. I don't think he can get by on what some of his lawyers and advocates would prefer, which is just submitted questions. When you submit questions to someone, you get their lawyers' answers back, not really their answers, and you don't get to do the follow-up questions that are necessary. So he's going to have to submit for an interview. Whether it will be under oath or not, I don't know, and I don't think the president knows. Like much of what the president says that's Russia-related, you can't really rely on it. He'll contradict it the next day or the next hour. But it is very important to get to the truth that he be interviewed, particularly on issues involving obstruction of justice, but also on what he knows about these clandestine meetings that so many people on his campaign were having with the Russians, many of which have now come to light.
Meanwhile, the House congressional probe, this is getting a little kind of chaotic with what's going on, what's being released into the Russia probe. Here you have the Republicans saying there's these missing text messages, Democrats releasing, countering that. How do you think this is going to go down?
Well, what we're seeing, unfortunately, with the GOP on the Intelligence Committee is a continuation of what started very early on when our chairman went to the White House on what's been called the midnight run, purportedly to present to the White House information about a conspiracy against the president, illegal surveillance of the president. There was no merit to it, and it was later revealed that the information he was presenting to the White House, he'd actually gotten from the White House. Now they're back at it. They're again attacking the intelligence community, the FBI, trying to discredit the investigation, trying to bring an end to Mueller's work because they're afraid of what he's finding. And it's a terrible disservice to the country. It's a real disservice to the patriotic men and women who are working for the FBI and protecting our country every day. But unfortunately, our chairman, Mr. Nunes, and others, like Mr. Gowdy, are willing to do whatever it takes to protect the president, even at the cost of savaging these institutions.
Once again, U.S. Congressman Adam Schiff of Burbank, ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee. Thanks for coming in this morning.